10 things men should never wear. You can tell a lot about a man just by looking at what he wears. But what if some of those things are silently working against you? Think about this. A study by Princeton psychologists Janine Willis and Alexander Todorov found that it takes just 1/10 of a second for someone to form an impression of you. And over half of that impression is based purely on how you look. Yes, your clothes are speaking. The real question is, what are they saying? Because whether you're walking into a boardroom, a date, or just down the street, the way you dress tells the world how to treat you. Most men don't even realize that certain clothing choices are quietly sabotaging them, making them look careless, outdated, or worse, insecure. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to stop wearing if you want to upgrade how you're seen, respected, and remembered. And make sure you stay till the end. The bonus tip is something 95% of men get wrong without even realizing it. 1. Overly tight jeans that restrict natural posture. Let's talk about jeans, because yes, they matter more than you think. Tight jeans might seem trendy, even stylish, but they're quietly working against you. When your pants are too tight, you're forced to change how you naturally move, how you walk, sit, or even stand. And whether you realize it or not, those tiny adjustments are visible to everyone around you. You start to look stiff, like you're uncomfortable in your own clothes. And that subtle discomfort, it reads as insecurity. A report from the British Chiropractic Association actually links tight clothing, especially pants, to hip misalignment, lower back strain, and nerve compression over time. Not exactly a fashion win. Just picture it. A guy trying to squat or bend and his jeans look like they're fighting for their life. That's not confidence, that's constraint. Here's what you want to do instead. Go for slim fit, not skinny. A good pair of jeans should follow the natural lines of your body, not squeeze the life out of them, because when your clothes fit right, you move right. And when you move right, people notice. 2. Deep V-neck shirts that distort chest proportions. Let's be honest, the deep V-neck was never really a good idea. Yes, it had a moment in the early 2010s, but fashion has moved on. And if you haven't, it's probably doing you more harm than good. Deep V-necks distort your upper body's natural proportions. They stretch the torso visually, making your chest look longer and flatter, especially if you haven't been living in the gym. Here's what most men don't realize. Neckline shapes manipulate perception. In women's fashion, this is done intentionally. V-necks are used to elongate the neck or emphasize the collarbones. But when men unknowingly wear a deep V, it often sends a message they never intended. Instead of looking casual and confident, it can come off as forced, like you're trying too hard to look edgy. And if your chest isn't built, that plunging neckline just highlights what's missing. Here's the fix. Opt for a classic crew neck or a modest V-neck, one that sits closer to the collarbone. These keep your chest framed, your upper body looking structured, and your entire look grounded. Subtle confidence always outshines loud insecurity, and your neckline speaks volumes. 3. Square-toed dress shoes that shorten leg appearance. Let's talk about shoes, specifically the kind that's quietly ruining your entire look, square-toed dress shoes. Once upon a time, around the early 2000s, they were everywhere. But fashion has evolved, and if your shoes still have that chunky, boxy front, they're aging you faster than you think. Here's the problem. Square-toed shoes cut off your leg line visually. Instead of letting the eye flow naturally from your leg down to your foot, they create a sudden, awkward stop. The result? You look shorter and less refined, especially if you're under 6 feet. And while you may think it's just a small detail, trust me, people notice. Shoes are one of the first things people subconsciously use to judge your style and polish. A better choice? Look for dress shoes with a slightly pointed or almond-shaped toe. They elongate your silhouette, create a cleaner line, and make your outfit feel instantly more modern. Think of it like this. Your shoes are the period at the end of your fashion sentence. Don't let that sentence end with a square block. Rule of thumb, your shoes should lengthen you, not block you. Simple shift, big impact. 4. Flashy designer belts that signal insecurity. Let's get real for a second. If the first thing people notice about your outfit is the giant logo on your belt, something's off. Big, flashy designer belts might feel like a power move, But most of the time, they come across as trying too hard. It's like the fashion version of saying, "Look how much money I spent." And that's rarely a good look. Psychologically, this kind of overbranding is often linked to what experts call status anxiety, the quiet fear of not being seen, respected, or taken seriously. So the instinct is to compensate with something loud. But here's the truth. Real confidence doesn't advertise itself. A refined man doesn't need to scream his value. He knows it, and that calm certainty shows up in the smallest details, like a belt. Swap out the oversized logos for a clean, well-crafted leather belt. No shouting, no flashing, just subtle, timeless quality. Because when you're secure in who you are, you don't need your accessories to do the talking. You walk into the room and that's enough. Remember, style should whisper class, not scream for attention. 5. Oversized logos that hijack attention from personality. There's a fine line between wearing a brand and letting a brand wear you, and oversized logos usually cross that line. When your shirt, hoodie, or jacket is basically a walking billboard, the attention shifts away from you and onto the logo. People might remember the brand, but they won't remember you, and that's a problem. Here's a fun fact backed by cognitive psychology. Our brains are wired to recognize and remember faces more easily when they're not distracted by bold text or busy visuals. That means the louder your outfit is, the harder it is for people to connect with you. Think about it. When someone meets you, are you trying to be memorable for your presence or for the logo plastered across your chest? Logos, when used well, are just accents, not the story. The goal isn't to flex what you bought. It's to wear clothes that fit well, feel good, and let you be the standout. That's why simple, well-cut basics always outlast trends. They're clean, they're confident, they don't beg for attention, they earn it. So here's the style rule. Subtle is greater than shouting, always. 6. Wrinkled clothing that subtly lowers perceived competence. Let's talk about something surprisingly powerful, wrinkles. Not on your face, but on your clothes. See, wrinkled clothing doesn't just look messy. It sends a subtle but strong message. I didn't care enough to get this right. And whether it's fair or not, people pick up on that instantly. Studies around job interviews have shown that candidates in crisp, well-pressed outfits are consistently rated as more organized, intelligent, and trustworthy, even when their qualifications are identical to others. The clothes didn't change their skills, but they did change the perception. It's psychology at work. Wrinkles are visual noise, and noise distracts from your message, your confidence, and even your competence. Imagine sitting across from someone who looks like they slept in their shirt. Would you hand them a major project or your money? Probably not. The fix? Easy. Keep a steamer in your room, use an iron, or hang your clothes up right after washing. 5 minutes in the morning can shape the way people view you all day long. Because when your clothes are sharp, you look sharp. And people trust sharp. It's not about being perfect, it's about showing you're intentional. That's what stands out. Socks with sandals, a visual contradiction to purpose. Socks with sandals. Let's call it what it is, a visual contradiction. Sandals are built for air, ease, and freedom. Socks are for warmth, coverage, and structure. Putting them together is like pouring cold soup into hot coffee. Technically possible, but nobody's asking for that flavor combo. Yes, some streetwear circles try to push this look as edgy or ironic. But let's be honest, most of the time, it just looks confused. Like you couldn't decide if you were going to the beach or curling up on the couch. Fashion should feel intentional, not accidental. Sandals should be worn how they were designed to be worn, with bare feet and confidence. Let them breathe. Let them move. Let them feel like summer, not a contradiction. And here's a golden rule. If your feet aren't groomed, they're not ready for sandals. A quick cleanup, clipped nails, smooth skin, makes a world of difference. You wouldn't wear a wrinkled shirt to a meeting, so don't wear neglected feet to a social event. Pro tip, treat your feet like part of the outfit, not an afterthought. Clean feet, no socks. Simple, sharp, and actually stylish. 8. Excessive jewelry that overwhelms nonverbal cues. Jewelry can be a beautiful detail or a full-blown distraction. Here's the thing. Your presence, your facial expressions, and your body language are what people connect with first. When you wear too much jewelry, big chains, oversized rings, stacked bracelets, you create visual noise. That noise competes with the subtle cues your face and hands naturally send out. Psychologists have found that we subconsciously rely on microexpressions and hand gestures to decide if someone is trustworthy. If those cues are hidden behind a wall of shine and sparkle, it's harder for others to read you, and that makes it harder to connect. That's why the most powerful men in the world tend to wear jewelry sparingly. A quality timepiece, a meaningful ring, maybe a sleek bracelet, but rarely all three at once. Unless you're on stage or filming a music video, more than 2 visible accessories at once usually feels like a costume, not a statement. Start simple. A classic watch and 1 ring. That's more than enough to show you've thought about your style without trying to be the center of attention. Remember, jewelry should complement your presence, not compete with it. 9. Ill-fitting blazers that distort shoulder-to-hip ratio. A blazer is one of the most powerful pieces in a man's wardrobe, but only when it fits right. When a blazer is too loose, it doesn't just look sloppy, it actively works against you. It hides your natural shape, makes your shoulders look slouched, and gives off the impression of low energy or poor posture. You might feel comfortable, but you won't look composed. On the flip side, a blazer that's too tight makes you look uncomfortable and restricted, like you're borrowing clothes from someone smaller. Movement feels stiff, and so does your presence. The key detail? Shoulder fit. The seam should end exactly where your shoulder does. Not hanging off, not creeping up. When that line is clean, the rest of the jacket falls into place naturally. And here's a game-changing truth. Even a budget-friendly blazer will look sharp if it fits well, while an expensive designer one will look cheap if it doesn't. That's how important tailoring is. So, take the extra step. Try it on. Get it adjusted if needed. A well-fitted blazer frames your body, sharpens your presence, and instantly elevates how people see you before you even say a word. 10. Novelty ties or shirts that sabotage credibility. Let's face it, ties with cartoon characters or shirts with cheesy slogans might get a laugh, but they also cost you something more valuable: credibility. People see you before they hear you, and if what they see feels like a joke, it's hard for them to take your words seriously, no matter how smart or thoughtful you are. It's like showing up to a meeting with a clown nose. The message gets lost in the distraction. Think of it like an email spam filter. Novelty prints act as visual clutter, and your real message, your intelligence, your confidence, your presence, never even gets through. That doesn't mean you need to be boring. There's a huge difference between playful and gimmicky. Subtle patterns, interesting textures, or a bold color in the right setting can show personality without sacrificing respect. Keep your wardrobe witty, not cartoonish. Humor works best in conversation, not plastered across your chest. A great style rule? Let your words carry the jokes, not your clothes. Because when you look sharp and speak with clarity, people actually listen. And that's the whole point, isn't it? If you've watched till now, drop the word refined in the comments to let us know you're one of the real ones. Bonus point just for you: clothes that don't match your skin undertone. Here's something most style guides completely miss, but once you understand it, you'll never shop the same way again. Wearing colors that clash with your skin's undertone can make you look washed out, tired, or even slightly unwell, even if everything else about your outfit is on point. Cooler undertones tend to shine in colors like navy, charcoal, and crisp whites. Warmer tones look incredible in olive, beige, rust, and other earthy hues. It's not about following trends. It's about enhancing what nature already gave you. A 2020 study on color psychology found that people wearing colors that match their skin undertones were rated as more trustworthy and attractive, simply because their clothes amplified their natural features instead of fighting against them. Here's the simple fix. Check the veins on your wrist. Blue or purple usually means cool undertone, greenish means warm. Or think about jewelry. Gold tends to flatter warmer tones, silver for cooler. This one adjustment can elevate your entire wardrobe without buying a single new item, just by choosing smarter, more flattering colors. Quick recap. Don't overcomplicate style. It's not about chasing trends. It's about mastering timeless principles that always work. Here's what to keep in mind. Choose fit over flash. Keep it clean, subtle, and intentional. And always dress like your future self is watching, because he'll thank you for it. If this video gave you even one useful tip, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more than you know and pushes this video out to others who need it. Subscribe for more daily drops like this. Simple, powerful, practical style that actually makes sense. And hey, do someone a favor. Share this with the guy in your life who still owns those square-toed shoes. You know exactly who we mean. Thanks for watching. We've handpicked the next video on your screen. Trust us, it's worth your time. See you back here tomorrow.